Hello and welcome everyone to another Northgard video on this channel. Since Shiro just released the new Winter Festival update with a lot of different changes around the balance in Northgard, it is also time for a new patch note review video over here where we go over all the changes that you can expect with this new update. Since I don't want to make this as long as a video as the last one were, I don't want to go in too deeply in all of the changes and rather the ones that I think are the most important ones. So let's not waste any more time and let's just jump right into the patch notes. And here we are in the Winter Festival patch notes right here. It starts out with a nice little picture right here, and we'll also start in right with the changes that will be regarding the new Winter Festival event. For example, permafrost will now be the default biome during the Winter Festival. That means it will always be the pre-selected map if you don't change it. Your villagers can build snowmen as long as they have nothing else to do on the tile right there. They will just start right away to build a little snowman. Also, your giant trees will have winter decoration and your axe throwers will be throwing snowballs instead of axes, what will of course be nice for the little winter feeling. On top of that, some of the deer will also have red noses, and the bears on the map will be white bears and not the usual brown ones you would know out of Northgard. These are of course always nice changes for the visuals around the Christmas time. They don't affect the gameplay all too much, and also the bug that appeared last year with the villagers building snowmen should be fixed for this patch. With that we can just jump right into the general changes, and there will already be a few big things in there. Because we have right here the lore related changes. The first of one is that the trading lore doesn't exist anymore, how you can see right here on the tree. Shipbuilding will also now allow you to build the lighthouse, so it will not be over the trading lore anymore. Also, coinage will now allow you to open up the trading route, so it will not be bound to the trading lore anymore. What will already force a lot of changes in Northgard. To replace trading, mining efficiency is now a tier 1 lore and will be replacing trading at this spot. It will, however, not give you any additional ore anymore and rather just give your miners a 15% mining speed bonus. That might let you think that you will work with a lot less gold in the early game of the games, but there's also another change that will give you a little bit gold back that we most likely gonna see later. Eradication also got changed, so it's not anymore a stack specific lore. It's now a tier 2 lore in the wealth tree, available for all clans. It will be keeping all its effects beside of the happiness that you were getting out of it. Recruitment also got changed a little bit, so it will now also trigger when you sacrifice a dragon unit, slaughter a sheep or a giant boar. What opens up the way for a few other strategical choices right there, and you may want to keep your sheep a little bit longer alive to trigger your recruitment. I'm not sure what you're gonna do with this right now, but it's an interesting change definitely. The medicine lore got also a little change. It will yet keep its plus 50% healing speed that it had before, but your healers will then not be able anymore to gather food when you took this lore, but only because healers will now do this in general, so you won't need to pick the lore anymore to make this happen. Military strategy also got to a maximum of 25%, but I think is okay because 25% is already quite a bit of a bonus what you can get out of the lore, and yeah, I think that's enough. However, the patch will also introduce a few new lores right here that you can already see on the tree right here. One of those will be shiny happy people in the tier 4 of the growth bench that is up here. Will be giving you a minus 20% required happiness based on your population, so this can be pretty helpful for games. We got a new lore in the tier 4 of the wealth branch that will be the trading caravan, that will give your trading routes a bonus of 20%, and also your affinity with neutral factions will grow quicker. I guess that will be interesting for quite a few clans and strategies, even though I cannot think of one right now, but I think for example the boar clan always really liked to trade with neutrals because you can't trade with any other faction, and I guess getting the relationship a little quicker with the giants can come in handy at some points, but I don't want to rate this too much right now. Let's go into the relic related changes and miscellaneous changes. Starting in with the relic changes right here will be Mjolnir doing less damage and during a shorter time. So I heard from other players that this were quite a drastic change, and Mjolnir definitely lost a lot of his power right there. I yet can hardly imagine how it should be like a completely useless relic, because yet it should be possible to cut players off in certain situations, even if it is for a shorter amount of time. If the player doesn't want to take the damage on his army right there, and I guess the damage should yet be enough to make this tile unpassable. It gotta be seen throughout the next weeks how strong this relic actually stays right now. I think it's not too bad that it got nerfed, because it were really a really strong lore and kind of a must-have in high-level games. I'm pretty sure that the lore relic also got changed. I might be wrong about that, but I think it got a cooldown, so you cannot spam take tiles anymore like you did before to like basically easily get you in fame win and free for all games. The Town Hall now will provide you +1 crowns from the start of the game to make a little bit up for the amount of gold you will be losing through not having the trading lore right there, but definitely helps out quite a bit at the start of the game. To go with that, the all over basic mining speed has been slowed down a little bit to make mining efficiency also a little bit more worthy. Skirmishers are also not accessible to every clan anymore. They are now exclusive snake clan unit, what will get the rush potential for a lot of clans a little bit down. It's not too bad, I guess. Skirmisher rushes were getting a little bit out of hand and a little bit too strong, and so yeah. Now only a snake clan unit. You can now also improve the tool of your scouts. That will give you +15% scouting speed, but the more important thing is that the scout will actually run instead of go to the next tile that he want to go to. I think it should still be better if you don't go for the upgrade and just micro them by hand, because they will also be running around them. But if you really see yourself oftentimes forgetting about your scouts, it might actually be a forge tool that you can really use. Also keeping in mind that the forge build cost has now been decreased to 60 wood and 15 crowns, and also the building time got turned down to 30 seconds right now to, I think, 45 before, but I might be wrong about that. Spectral Warriors and Mulkafars can now also be found in any biome and not only in Ragnarok. What were in the beta sometimes a little bit annoying, to be honest, that I had really often Mulkafars on the map, and especially on higher difficulties they will be attacking pretty often, and also you will realize that they're on the map pretty early, not that much with the other neutral factions. They definitely make themselves heard right here. But if that can turn down a little bit and I don't have to see the Mulkafars in every single game, I think that's not too much of a problem, and I really like them to also have them in the normal map. The new Altar of Kings will now give you +3 of every resource, +1 happiness and 50 fame, so now gives you 1 more of every resource and 1 happiness on top of that, making altars a little bit stronger than they were before. And here's the change that I meant with the supply lines penalty. It will now be decreasing by 5% per year, now stopping rushes a little bit, but later on in the game making less and less of a difference to the attacking side. There can also be more than 1 bear now in a zone, depending on the difficulty that you play, of course, and how far away the tile is actually from your town hall. Also, they added the cooldown for the first recruitment of war chiefs. I'm not 100% how it triggers it right now. If somebody has an idea, you can of course leave that in the comments right now. I didn't try it out the bear clan yet because the changes are actually pretty slim, but this might actually be the clan it has the biggest impact to, and would be really interesting to know how it actually affects it. Projectile Resistance is now an ability. I think that's more important going into the future right now, and not all too important for us right now. And when playing in multiplayer with or against AIs, it is now possible to have an infinite pause. Yeah, it will be quite helpful if you're playing with only AIs. You can also keep now exploring a ruin or shipwreck an ally started without starting over. The trading with neutral factions will now also improve the trading over time. Trading with them prevents them from attacking you. And Blaine will be getting the Thunder attack, also like the Raven's Giant mercenaries. I'm not 100% sure what that is right now, but I'll be happy to find out, I guess. And with that, we are already right in the clan balancing to the changes of all the various clans here, Northgard, to try to make a little bit of balance happen here. Now let's start with the clan balancing here and the clan of the Kraken. At first, the fresh fish floor will be replacing the Hearthstone lore at the upper tree. Foresight will also be replacing Recruitment, making the clan of the Kraken a non-recruitment clan, what I think is quite important to note right here. Also, Near of the Sea Spirit will give you +1 crown and +1 word for every 3 buildings built on a coastal zone. And the lore will now be replacing shipbuilding right here, not giving the clan shipbuilding, what of course makes a lot of sense since they cannot build docks. And the knowledge from beyond will now allow you to do the trading routes right here, what is of course quite handy. At 500 fame you will be getting the Howl of the Sea Master right now, what will let your clan be feasting throughout the whole Kraken event, what can be super strong in certain situations. And yeah, gotta be seen if that is actually balanced with the other clans right then when the Kraken event actually comes kind of frequently. I see it as a very situational tool, what can be disgustingly strong in the situations where the Kraken actually comes, because the other clans will most likely take a hit because they cannot use their ships, and the Kraken will actually get another buff right then. We'll see how that plays out, but I think that's a really strong effect foreseen right now. But with that, let's go into the clan of the horse right here, which is Quality of Life will be replacing Negotiate on the lower tree. The Warcry cooldown is now shared between both war chiefs. So going for the Tactician tree, maybe not that much of a must anymore for the horse, and maybe the Guardian and Conqueror tree now gets a little bit more of an option for them. Metalcraft will now be replacing mining efficiency and will be increasing the mining and forge speed of your war chiefs by 60%, what can be quite helpful indeed. Excavation, however, also got changed a little bit right here, so every war chief mining stone or iron will now produce +4 lore, and the 60% should already be counted in there because you are now required to go for metalcraft before you go for excavation. The gameplay will most likely change a little bit for the horse clan right here, but I don't think that it will lose its lore potential in the start of the game because it were always pretty strong there, and I guess even having that a little bit lowered, it will not hurt it all too much and yet be a pretty strong clan right there. Let's see what's changed about the Clan of the Dragon. Starting in with Draconic Frenzy, what will now give you a +100% attack bonus on your military units if there are no other military units in that certain tile. The Dragonkins also got changed, getting now a 20% projectile resistance bonus, what were around before already, but now it will actually also be displayed to you. Their attack power has been risen a little bit and their move speed has been risen a little bit, most likely to make them not be countered as much by X-Throwers right then. I think the move speed is a really good idea. I think the attack power might be a little bit too much. Again, something that we gonna see now through the next weeks how it plays out. I think when the attack power were actually too much, we're gonna see a lot of dragons in the next week trying to take advantage of the strong Dragonkins. And if not, I might be proven wrong right here, but just in my opinion, the attack power might be a little bit too much right here because the movement speed is already a really good buff for the Dragonkin. And even though that you might think 10% is not that much, you should really try it out in game and see how much of a difference those 10% can actually make for the Dragonkins. Further on, the Blood, Sweat and Tears lore will be replacing Medicine, making the Blood, Sweat and Tears build even pop a little bit earlier. And with Capture, the chance to actually capture something is doubled when your war chief is also in the zone, what should be quite helpful because the actual capture rate for me at least were never really that high. But now with the war chief, you should actually get on a respectable chance to actually get a few captures here and there. And Slave Trade will now also replace Erudition, also be a little bit earlier for you to reach, to not have Blood, Sweat and Tears and Slave Trade as a tier 4 lore, and they will now rather be tier 3 lores. They will now rather be tier 3 lores, a little bit easier to reach and maybe making the Dragon Clan a little bit faster in general. With that, we'll be jumping into the Snake Clan that got quite a big rework right here, how you can already see at the picture. The first change will be that skirmishers are now exclusive to the Snake Clan, what is of course quite helpful for the clan because it can't also be answered as easy with skirmishers from other clans. Signe also has a few new stats to go into it. With age 16 she will be getting her ranged attack like before. With age 17 she can now go out through neutral tiles and basically move like a skirmisher. That is 1 year earlier than it were before. And with age 18, Signe now gains the Scorched Earth, what will be just as before. With the Scorched Earth, you will now also be able to pillage resources in enemy territories depending on the zone production. I don't know how many resources that are now exactly, but I already saw players using that quite a bit, even though that the Snake Clan doesn't get it as often as the Raven Clan gets the Mercenaries, of course, but it can yet help you quite a bit out in certain situations. The Under Pressure lore also got a little change, so it will now give you plus 20% attack and a supply penalty reduced for your skirmishers. On top of that, it will also give you a plus 10% bonus to all your other military units, so the Snake Clan is not as bound to the skirmishers anymore, while they should still be the strongest choice for the Snake Clan here, of course. Also, you will be getting half a happiness and plus 1 food for each military unit on a non-allied zone. It means that the maximum of units you can have right next to an enemy territory is not a 1 anymore, so for example, if you have 10 skirmishers right next to your enemy's tile, you will be actually getting 5 happiness and 10 food out of that. The Guerrilla Tactics, however, got a little bit of a nerf right here, giving your military units plus 1 attack power per unit lost or killed. So you will not only kill villagers right then, but in the end I would still see it as kind of a nerf because it's only 1% and up to a max of 30% and not 40 anymore. Even though that you now will also be getting closer to your goal if you just lose units and you don't kill anything, but I yet still see this as a nerf. Black market also got changed a bit. It will now give you plus 10% on your merchant production. Also allows you to get for the trade routes, because you will not be getting that with trading anymore. Also you will be getting plus 50% income from trading routes with enemy clans. I think that were 100 before. I'm not 100% sure though. However, the clan will yet get no resources from you, and the diplomacy will rather be decreased rather than increased with a normal trade route. Gungia, the relic of the Snake clan, will now give the stealth ability to all military units. That means stealthy units won't get attacked by watchtowers for 5 seconds before they will get attacked by the watchtower. That doesn't mean that you can't see the units anymore. You will see the units very much, but yeah, your watchtowers will now react delayed to them basically. So that were the changes for the Snake clan with this patch. I think they yet take a pretty big buff out of this patch, even though that it got turned down quite a bit, because at the start of the beta, the Snake clan were actually looking a lot stronger than it did right now. But yeah, I hope that these changes here will be definitely enough to whoop the Snake clan a little bit higher into the meta, and that the playstyle of the Snake clan stays conservated even throughout these changes right here. With that, let's jump into the Boar clan. Legacy will now be replacing Hearthstone and give your altars of kings a production and happiness bonus of 50%. What is yet quite good if you keep in mind that the altars in general now give you a little bit more resources than it did give you before. Also, Menders will now not give you a 7% bonus on all production anymore. They will now rather give you a 5% production bonus and a 10% production bonus on your lore economy. So for this particular use, they will be even better, but for all other users, they will now only give you a 5% production bonus, what I see rather as a nerf right here, even though they will keep their 20% healing speed you were getting before. Simple Living will now replace Sharp Axes and make it a really early lore, and Lay of the Land also will be replacing Mining Efficiency, also making it a tier 1 lore. The new Battle Ring will allow you to get trading routes. You can trade every resource to neutral factions, and trade routes with neutral factions give you +1 happiness per trading route, what I think is pretty interesting. Osmosis will be replacing Negotiate, so will not actually change up that much. Osmosis will stay a tier 4 lore and will only be moved up to make space for trading Caravan. The relic for the Boar clan also got changed. I think the most important change is right here that they now get a +5 food production bonus right here. I think the rest of the stuff stayed the same right here. If not, you can correct me if I'm wrong right here, but I think that were already before like that. With that, let's jump into the clan of the Bear. I think the clan of the Bear actually one that got the least changes right here now, with Shield Maiden and Kaja getting a projectile resistance bonus like the Shield Bearers, and Kaja costing 40 food and 40 crowns. Hibernation will now also heal your units on the territory of your teammates, making it even a stronger lore actually. And Winter Festival will now reduce your food penalty by even 50% more, give you free happiness, and gives you +50% on your trading routes in winter, what could be pretty interesting. But like I said, not a lot of changes for the clan of the Bear right here. The clan of the Raven doesn't look like it has that much changes too, but I think actually changes playstyle a little bit more than the clan of the Bear right here, even though there are not a lot of visual changes, how we can see right here too. The new Negotiator will give you +2 crowns and +20% commercial influence, so basically stays the same, keeping in mind that you will be getting +1 crown from your town hall right now. Exotic goods will be replacing erudition, making it available a little bit earlier, what can be very interesting for the clan of the Raven. And there's a new weapon in the forge, now giving your mercenaries +20% projectile resistance. It can be pretty interesting. I don't know how much they will then be able to break down upgraded towers or be even more frightful against normal towers. I think that's more of a thing there. So I guess with this weapon you could be really forcing your opponent into going for upgraded towers to actually kill those mercenaries, because I think with an upgraded one you should still be able to do it, well I'm not sure. But the Mercenary Rates also got another change, because it will now take a little bit longer until they actually appear in the enemy's territory right here. So I think they got a little bit more like the ghosts for the Kraken clan, so you can already see them before and which tile they will hit, and then you can basically react to that a little bit more than you could before. Well, I think that you can yet surprise players pretty much with the Mercenaries, even though you will now see it a little bit earlier. And we're already with the clan of the Raven. Let's see what the clan of the Stag has. One of the important changes is that you will be actually getting lore on top of the resources you will be getting at your starting and your 200 fame bonus. So at the start of the game you will be starting with plus 40 lore, and later on you will be getting even plus 75 lore on top of that. Can be pretty helpful for the clan of the stack, because in general usually not too good of a lore producer. With the 500 fame bonus you will now be getting 1% production for every 100 fame. When I were playing, the 10% bonus on every upgraded building were still a thing though. I'm not sure if it is yet anymore, but yeah, if that got taken away it will be a little hit there for the clan of the stack. If not, I think it can actually benefit from this change. The clan of the stack will be getting a new lore on the place of recruitment, I'm pretty sure. It will be the lore hero emblem. It will make your Altar of Kings cost no stone. It will also produce 2 happiness for you and earn you fame slowly. Food preservation will give you plus 3 food for each silo, plus 5 if upgraded, what I think is the same as it were before. It will now also give you plus 1 happiness per silo, so the eradication bonus will now be moved to here. And it will be replacing Hearthstone, keeping space for the shiny happy people, what I don't think will be auto-used with the clan of the stack, but maybe I'm just lacking the creativity to see something right there. With your Glory of the Clan you will now be getting plus 20% fame on your fame gains and plus 20% on your trading routes and great trading routes. So I think rather for trading builds interesting. I didn't really use it right now in one of my builds, but I guess that yeah, you can definitely make use of it because trading is yet pretty strong. And with that, improved trading routes should usually always be quite interesting for the clans. Value of Great Deeds will now be replacing mining efficiency here, and every skeld will now produce 1.5 gold if upgraded and not 2 anymore. Gets the potential there a little bit lower, but the stack clan now actually has access to shipbuilding and therefore also sailors. It might actually be an option for the stack clan to actually focus onto sailors right now, what weren't actually possible before while you didn't really get the shipbuilding. Let's go into the clans that definitely needed a nerf last patch, the clan of the goat and the clan of the wolf, and I can tell you one of the clans definitely got a huge hit right there. So the clan of the goat will now only be able to build 1 sheepfold at the start of the game and will only be able to build a second one if you went for the shepherd lore. It will yet give you 2 free sheep and 10% sheepfold production, but yeah, will also enable you to build a second sheepfold there. Industrious will be replacing recruitment, basically getting a tier 3 lore and a little bit more reachable now when you basically you have to go for shepherd to go for the second sheepfold. You're now 1 lore in front of Industrious, maybe helping you out there a little bit to getting up to 8 sheep working for you. It will yet be pretty hard for the clan to get the required upgrades right there, but I think like that the goat clan could yet be a pretty strong food producer like it were before. The 200 fame bonus should now also actually get into play. You getting the free food upgrades can help you out quite a bit there to get the required food economy up to still play the goat like you would know it. I don't think that the clan of the goat will end up being a bad clan now. It will not be as strong as before anymore certainly, and basically not be working anymore on another level like the food production for the goat clan were sometimes just humongous and needed to be stopped here. So definitely a drastic change. I hope that the goat clan will remain a strong clan, but we will see that over the next weeks. The clan of the wolf also got a pretty important change right here, with the conqueror lore being turned down by minus 25% for both effects right here, what I think is pretty important. The spoils of war lore also got a little nerf right here, now giving you 5 crowns less for basically everything beside of Valkyries and neutral factions, if I got that right. With the relic of the wolf clan you will now be able to also summon individual wolves, so you will not need to spawn 2 at the pack anymore, you can now go for single ones also. And with that we're actually at the end of the patch notes right here. I hope that you enjoyed the video, hope that you of course now learned everything that you need to know about the changes that will be coming with the new patch that you can check out right now. If you enjoyed the video, you might want to leave a like down below to support the channel a little bit. I don't want to drag out the video too long here. I hope that you all have a great day and maybe see you back in the next one. Bye bye, see ya!